What do you think is the number one reason of all the causality of all the not even the correlation, more so the causality of the inaugural of all atrocities? You may think is poverty, you may think is the lack of knowledge, you may think is illiteracy, you may think is people just being resilient, people just being reluctant to what they're supposed to do. But what I came to understand after I read the book of The True Meanings of Life, the true rules of meaning of life, written by the great pessimistic philosopher by the name Schopenhauer. The reason why I call him the reason why he's called a pessimistic philosopher is the fact that he approached life from a point of life is all made up of, or rather, he believed life is encompassed of pain and suffering, and through that suffering is what you do find the true meaning of life. At some point, you can agree with what he's saying that in suffering, in pain, is where you find the true purpose of your existence. It does make sense if you look at that point of view. Conventionally, it comes with a negative energy into your life. Yes, it may be a good point of approaching your life, and all about and one thing I want to clarify is about philosophy. Now, philosophy, what entails is that it's how you philosophy. It's just the principles, the key, the patterns that you're going to use to tackle the life that you're existing in. You exist in, or rather, you're creating through your existence. And that's what is called philosophy. You're studying the existence, you're studying the reality, you're studying on how things they are as they are, not the way you think they are, but the way they appear. It is what it is. And Buddhism is a great way of approaching, is a great way of helping you to transverse into philosophy, because it directs you on the right pattern to follow. Now, life is not all about pain, and that's why I was saying that the inaugural of all atrocities, it's trying to run away from pain, forgetting that life and pain can't be a separate thing, is one and the same thing, the yin and the yang. Where there's good, you cannot define good when when you have not experienced the bad. And one happiness can only be explained when one has ever experienced sadness. Now, if you choose to live a life of happiness, and the reason why I'm putting it in quotes, because happiness, it's a state, it's a state of being, it's a choice. It's not a point on life that you're going to reach and then you decide that you're going to become happy. You choose to become happy regardless of your status that you represent in your life. It doesn't matter if you're successful, materialistic. It doesn't matter if you have things that 99% of people will, or rather desires to have. You may still have them, but still operate in a state of absence of happiness, because you choose to be happy. It's a state, and I find this to be utter absurdity when people think that one day I'm going to become one day I'm going to become happy, one day when I get these things. It's all a collective illusion. There's no day that you're going to have something and yet you're going to become entirely successful. More so, people call it the existential crisis, because you're chasing something that is never there. And religion it's a good depict this philosophy perfectly, because it tells you something that you know that you never have. the heaven. Eventually, the day that you'll have heaven, that you'll be dead. So entirely you live a life of an illusion, trying to chase something, trying to achieve something that you know that it doesn't you're never going to have it by the end of by the end of everything, which is utterly absurdity. But if you choose to live in the present, if you choose to live now, appreciate the fact that the mere present that you live in this immensely world of vast magic and beautiful, and the fact that you're existing, that is enough to be thankful that you're living in heaven. Thankful to be that is enough for you to be grateful that you're actually alive. You can breathe, you can do whatever you can do. That is enough. So yeah, I believe that, yeah, if you think that if you decide to trade your happy to trade rather to sacrifice living a life of happiness, living a life of what it is, to choose to live a life of what you think it is, the life of happiness, then it won't it will be very obvious to also experience a negative feedback loop of that existence, which at some point you'll not even some point, at most of your time, you'll experience sadness, you'll experience disappointment, you'll experience heartbreak, because you decide to choose happiness, you decide to chase happiness, you decide to put expectation in people that you loved. You expected you choose to love extra to people. Then with that, you shouldn't be disappointed. You should also embrace when the negative part, or rather when the other side of that existence come with it, because happiness cannot exist where there's no sadness. Because at some point also, because we're feeling happy, at some point you're feeling sad, and the days that you're sad, you have to embrace it. The day that you'll be heartbroken, you'll have to embrace it. The day that you feel like you're dying, you'll have to embrace it, because that's the life you choose. But if you choose a life of stoicism, where you don't put emotion and expectation and approval to anything, then and you appreciate life as the way it is, and decide to live in the present, and when anything comes as the way it is the way it is, I don't think you'll end up having a very happy life. It's more of a paradox solution to life. But you have to be smart on how you're going to apply this concept, because it's not that easy to approach things, not encoding them to your emotions.